Hey MTV, welcome to my crib. Oops, sorry, force of habit. Hi, I'm Srishti, a high school student by day and an inspiring film producer by night. My sense of humor consists of really unfortunate puns mixed with ineffective, sarcastic remarks, so I apologize in advance to those of you who will actually listen to this entire thing. As an ACE Media Studies student, I was assigned a final project 6 weeks ago in which my partner and I created a 2-minute film opening, and let me tell you, 2 minutes is a lot longer than you may think. So, the first step to any film production, an idea. Believe it or not, this may have been the most difficult part of the project. I remember sitting in class 6 weeks ago with Cheyenne, my partner, and going through possible genres. We had romance, drama, horror, all the works. We're pretty set on a coming of age film, which is a genre in which character development is a major theme, making it very relatable and inspirational. We looked to Perks of Being a Wallflower as inspiration, and after I explain our final film idea, you will see how our result ended up being the stark opposite of Perks. In my blog, you will see a post titled From Beaches and Romance to Mugshots and Suicides. This title basically sums up the brainstorming process. So, the birth of our idea. Well, it all began when I had the idea of a mugshot. I wanted to use the flashes of a mugshot as a transition to alternate scenes, juxtaposing the context. Our overall goal, however, was to refrain from sinking into the monstrous seas of cliche, and we were slowly getting pulled in further and further. Before it was too late, we quickly thought of methods to make the mugshot idea more unique. We decided to make the mugshots fake part of a project. Now, this was all fine and dandy, but why in the world would someone want to see a movie of two girls doing a film project? Well, add in an intruder and bam, suspense, our genre. Again, noticing we were on a track towards more cliches, we decided to switch it up even further, making the intruder a girl as opposed to the typically shown dominant male. This allows us to surprise our audience and also include an underlying message breaking gender typing. While we began by basing our project off of a shot we wanted to produce, the mugshot one, we switched to creating an entire film idea in order to implement as much as we could into the opening. I thought it'd be cool if the intruder was just an ordinary girl who sought to be noticed. As you saw in the film opening, the intruder leaves a pill bottle with a symbol on it, as opposed to taking something like an ordinary intruder would do. Again, challenging the typical conventions used in intruder films. This symbol is actually the symbol of death, foreshadowing her unfortunate future. The list of addresses in which she crosses out one is a method of implying that she has multiple victims. Oh, by the way, I just put air quotations around the victims. Forgot I was just a voice coming from a computer to you guys. These victims are actually just students who do not know each other, but have talked to our intruder at one time or another. Even a simple, "what's the homework?" would suffice, as the antagonist lacks any personal connections. So to wrap it all up, the intruder basically leaves clues in each student's house, and the film follows the students on a journey in which they put the clues together, discovering things about each other, about themselves, and about, well, the intruder. So there you have it, our suspense slash coming of age hybrid. Okay, so our film genre itself seems to be enough to attract audiences, being that suspense keeps viewers at the edge of their seats, while the coming of age aspect allows them to form a connection with the characters. While the plotline may seem unordinary, making it difficult to relate to film initially, the overall plotline is pretty simple. A girl who feels lost, isolated, much like many high school students do. Her actions speak louder than words, and she wants to leave with a bang. She wants to leave a mark and bring these 8 students together in a way that she never got to experience. Having made up her mind about leaving this world, her seemingly dark method of leaving clues was actually done to prevent other high schoolers from feeling the way she did. The two characters introduced at the beginning of the scene, Lindsay and Grace, are just 2 of 8 students who will transform completely by the end of the film, for the better, of course. We wanted to develop these 2 characters and juxtapose their personalities while maintaining their realistic personas. As you can tell, Lindsay is your typical detached, unfocused high school student, while Grace is, well, the opposite. She's extremely focused, and responsibility is basically her middle name. Being that the characters are all high schoolers facing ordinary along with out of the ordinary obstacles, our film is primarily targeted towards teens around the same age range. Not only will our film depict the characters putting clues together to find out the mystery behind these intrusions, but Borderline will simultaneously delve into real-life teenage issues such as school stress, social stress, family stress, and just stress in general, which is a very real and very prevalent aspect of being in this age. Moving on to the actual production process, it has by far been an emotional roller coaster, no less. 2 full days of filming, along with endless hours of editing, taking sound and lighting into account, really add up to all the everyday responsibilities we are faced with, and 6 weeks of time is by far extremely limited. Going into this project, however, Cheyenne and I were very focused and very passionate. We both are extremely productive individuals able to maintain time pretty well comparatively, and we knew that with our complementary personalities, we would effectively get the job done. We did not create a storyboard per se due to our lack of artistic ability, but we did instead write up a shot list including technical terms such as vertical pan of intruder walking through yard. This provided us with a foundation to build upon our day one of filming, although several of the shots and angles were altered for the better. As far as the actual production software, iMovie was our best friend and our worst enemy. I say this because our entire film was shot on my phone and then edited solely using iMovie. However, our options were relatively limited on iMovie. Also, we had to physically be together in order to collectively edit the film, being that iMovie does not have a sharing facility that allows two people to edit at the same time, much like Google Drive does provide. So now I'm going to go ahead and walk you guys through the actual opening, delving into each scene individually. Since I have gone over a couple of the scenes already, I will not go into as much detail in those specific ones. This credit shown above was created using iMovie as we really liked this transition effect and were able to edit it smoothly. We named the production company Verge Productions because we thought it really reflected the suspense type of movie theme we were creating. The rest of the credits, however, were actually created through Keynote and then transferred to iMovie, being that iMovie didn't provide the same text options and transitions that we saw. Moving on to the actual scene being presented, it shows a sketchy looking car slowly pulling up. This car was chosen specifically due to the fact that it created a sense of spookiness, and it is evident that whoever is inside is trying to be inconspicuous, since the headlights are off regardless of it being dark outside, along with overly slow driving. Props to my mom for that, by the way. I was actually laying on the street to get this shot this way because we really wanted it to be shown in a kind of low parallel angle, making it a bit more visually appealing. The following scene is an over the shoulder of the intruder gathering her belongings. Okay, so I already talked about this scene earlier, but just to reiterate, this was included in order to allow the implication that there are multiple victims as opposed to just one. This next shot is one of my favorite shots in the film. We were trying to figure out how to film this scene. We tried so many things. Over the shoulders, long shots, medium shots, nothing seemed to pop. Then, just as I was about to give up, I noticed I had my phone on the side of the fence, parallel to the gate. I turned on my camera to see how this would look, and I loved it. We used flash in all of these scenes because it was super dark outside, but it ended up creating a dark horror film type of feel due to the lighting, which Cheyenne and I both loved. Did you hear that? The sharp contrast between the loudness of the gate and the intruder scene, juxtaposing with the silence in the girl's room. Yes, that was intentional. We really wanted to create a sharp differentiation between the intruder scenes and the room scenes through the sound and camera movements. This is the mugshot scene I was talking about earlier, the scene that ignited the entire film idea. As you will see in the next set of scenes, the camera movement is very limited and simple, directly contrasting to the creative shots taken during the intruder scenes. Also intentional.
I know, but hopefully we get a good grade on it because I have an 89 in her class and I really need to get an A.
So this scene holds a lot more meaning than it may seem. The intruder looks left and right and reluctantly goes left. This reluctance represents her feeling lost in the world, not knowing which way to go, not knowing what to do. This is another scene I really like, also created after trying a number of different angles. I wanted to add some color to the scenes while maintaining the dark vibe. I also wanted to make it appear that the intruder was being watched, but I wanted this to be more low-key and not as obvious as other productions tend to do by adding a camera-like filter. I stood behind a tree, conquering numerous spiderwebs and coming face to nose with a lizard, and filmed from there. The shadow thing happening here was an unexpected blessing. I love how it adds dimension to our scene. This next scene is another one of those underlying meaning types of scenes. It shows that she is not prepared and is unaware of her surroundings. She's not like other intruders who plan every detail by detail, knowing which doors are open and which are closed. Also, let me tell you a secret about this scene. Watch and tell me if you see something weird or wrong. Did you see it? Anything that reveals the identity of an intruder? Here it is again. Look right there. A piece of blonde hair is peeking through the hoodie. Now, I could say that this was intentional and a method of providing a clue to the audience, but no, it was a mistake. We all make them. Lucky for us, we asked our viewers about it and they said they didn't even notice a thing. Thank God. That tower is not the easiest thing to walk around in 80-degree Florida weather while families give you weird looks and reach for their phones to call the police, being that you're dressed as an intruder. Okay, back to the
Yeah,
girl
Mom.
scenes.
I'm at a party
Again,
right
not much
now.
can be said about them as the choices were very simplistic.
No, I already told you. I'm at my friend's house doing a group project. Yeah, you know, whatever. Bye. You talk to your mom like that? If I ever did that, my mom would never let me out of the house again. Yeah, well, you don't have my mom. Like, she's so annoying. Whatever. I have to go. This was.
I love the natural conditions of this scene. I'm referring to how the doorknob is very rusty. I also had another confrontation with a lizard filming this scene. I later was informed an alligator was on the loose on my street, so luckily he or she did not make a surprise visit. It's rough being a Floridian. This was yet another scene in which I had to lay on the ground to film.
Okay, I'll walk you out. Okay.
You can now hear the music building up as the girls and the intruder are becoming closer and closer. The quick jolt of the intruder emphasizes her reluctance regarding her actions. The slam of the pill bottle followed by the scurrying of the intruder is a great scene, which brings out the color red and which really coincides with the overall feel of the film. As far as the distribution of Borderline, we would initially have a viewing of just the film opening at a local film festival. Dependent upon the reactions and feedback we gain, we would then progress towards producing the remainder of the film, simultaneously creating a substantial fan base through social media. Due to the simple plotline depicted in a thriller type of way, the target audience is very broad, expanding our scope of distribution, potentially allowing Borderline to become a globally acclaimed film. So there you have it, the full production process of Borderline. I hope you enjoyed listening to my voice for the past 13 minutes or so. I tried to keep it pretty concise. Well, have a great day. Bye.